and good morning. Here's our weekly yoga class with me, Jess. This week I had taken a poll to kind of get a feel for what people might be wanting out of this class. This is like a free or donation-based class. So I like to kind of mix it up. I like to see what people are, wanting week to week. So I think I'm going to continue doing those polls, even though every time I do them so far, it's been like a 50-50 split. This week, the question was, did you want a restorative class, which is fewer poses held for longer. And the idea behind restorative is relaxing into a stretch versus using your like muscles or like effort, finding a deep stretch. Sometimes people, I think, confuse yin and restorative, or sometimes classes may be labeled restorative when really they're more like a yin class. For me, the difference is that idea of relaxing into a stretch. Usually restorative uses lots and lots of props, like pillows, blocks, blankets, so your body can be really supported, so you can fully relax. I guess a way of thinking of that is like, right now to sit up tall, you have to use your muscles to sit up tall. If you're fully relaxed, you might be like slumped over. So even though we're just sitting here, it might look like a passive, like relaxed posture, but you're using your muscles. So when restorative, you're going to be kind of supplementing that source of support with your props. And sometimes it is hard to relax if you don't feel supported. That's totally normal. So that's another reason why props are really great. Yin classes are definitely more physically demanding in my experiences. A lot of times you are holding a challenging posture for a very long time. And so I've been to classes where, the instructor tells you only go 30% at first. And then maybe over the course of the next 5 minutes, you find yourself 30% as in like fold it in a forward fold. You're not going to your deepest forward fold in that first minute or two. You're only going about halfway or even less to give your body room to ease deeper and deeper as time goes on. So maybe kind of subtle differences. Maybe if you are new to yoga, those nuances might be a little harder to pick up on, or maybe you haven't experienced either one of those classes yet. So if you have more questions about any of that, you're always welcome to contact me through direct message or email jesshogan816@gmail.com. But yeah, with the poll, it was either restorative or a flow class. So that would be something more energetic. A lot of times in studios or public classes, they're listed as vinyasa classes or vinyasa flow. Ashtanga is another style of yoga that flows and is very energetic. So I know I've talked to lots of people who are kind of, they get like a little scared off by that language of flow or vinyasa flow. But there are definitely ways to flow in a class without it being a very fast pace, without it being super energetic, without it being something that's maybe just like outside of your physical abilities. Or even just what you want that day. So I was just going to explain that flowing, or when people use that language, it's really, hey Gravy, it's really like linking breath to movement. So since you're in charge of your breath, since that's something that we're always focusing on in a yoga practice, you can really set your own pace in a flow class that way, by focusing on your breath. So linking breath to movement. Maybe you link multiple breaths in between a movement. Maybe something, instead of it taking you an inhale to move into it, you do an inhale and an exhale. Just being conscious of your breath. A lot of ways people incorporate flowing into yoga is by doing sun salutations. The Sanskrit for a sun salutation is namaskar. Vinyasa is that idea of linking breath to movement, so sometimes people will refer to sun salutations or like a certain sequence that you're doing over and over again between postures as a vinyasa. both are pretty much explaining the same thing. However, Namaskar is a traditional sequence of poses that was originally practiced, like 6,000 years ago in India. Again, really interesting. I'm doing like a Cliff's Notes version, so if you want to look more into that, I encourage you to do so, or talk to me about it. I love talking about these things. But you can sequence any postures together and turn it into a flow. And it can be energetic, or it can be kind of chill. So I'll kind of I decided to, since we got 50-50, I decided to do first half of the class with some flowing and maybe show you some ways to flow that you haven't done before, or that might be different than like a more mainstream yoga class you might go to at a studio. And then from there, the second half of the class, I'd like us to do some restorative postures. So I was hoping this would be about an hour-long class. I've probably already been talking for like 10 minutes though, so it might end up being like 70-ish minutes all in all, or 75. You can always skip these intros if you want to practice this class later when it's not live, or if you want to do it again later. So I was going to have us begin with our opening grounding and meditation in a restorative posture. So I don't know if you can see here, but I've got a cat. And I've got like a whole pile of pillows, a bolster. I've got 2 sets of yoga blocks, just because since I have all of these things, I may as well have them available if I want to use them during my practice. If you do not have yoga blocks, that's fine. Pillows are a great substitute, especially in restorative yoga for blocks. You could also use books or VHS tapes if you're wanting to use them to like support your body. If you want some more like integrity there, a pillow wouldn't work, so a book is great. But yeah, blankets, pillows, get all the things you need here. And the posture I was going to open with is going to be on your back. There are a few ways to do this depending on what props you have available. If you have a bolster, or even just like kind of a long pillow, this could be good for supporting under your back. We're going to do a heart opener and a hip opener. And just a nice little disclaimer I like to remind everybody at the beginning of all of my classes, everything that I'm demonstrating today is optional. You can always tweak it, you can always skip it, you can swap something out for, swap out this bolster for just having your back flat on the ground. That's totally fine. So if you do have a nice long pillow like this, you can bring it right up against your back, so your low back here, and then you would lean back very slowly, allowing your arms to open. So this is one option. You can have your yoga blocks, pillows, or blankets underneath your arms for some extra support, or you can let them hang. Either is fine. If you don't have a bolster, you could find that same heart opening shape with blocks. And how you would do this is you'd bring one of the blocks just right behind your spine between your shoulder blades. And then the other is going to be underneath your head. I like to have the one under my head at the medium level. So this would be like short, medium, tall. So like the medium level under my head. Some people like it at the lowest level under their head. It's just going to depend. So maybe just set them up, and then as you lay back, make sure you're really nestling that one between your shoulder blades, and then having something for your head. Again, if you have blankets or blocks you'd like to put under your arms, you can do that here too. We're basically just trying to find a nice open experience for the chest, for the shoulders, and the collarbone. Third option for heart opening with a different prop is if you do have a blanket. It doesn't have to be one of these Mexican blankets, it could be any blanket. Fold it and then roll it into a tube. Bring that along your spine. So similar to the bolster, it's just going to be a gentler heart opener or back bend. So maybe you choose this if those other two just seem like they were going to be a little too much like flexion in your spine. And make sure your head is supported, so that blanket tube, it should be long enough to where it's underneath your head and goes all the way down your spine, kind of right into the small of your back. With this option, your arms should rest pretty comfortably on the ground, but if for any reason that is uncomfortable, slide a blanket underneath. So that's what we're doing for the upper half of the body. For the lower half, you always have the option to keep your legs just stretched long. It's a great option. Or if you want to incorporate the restorative hip opener, you can bring soles of the feet to touch and have your knees wide. So that would look like this, but you're laying back. I think it's kind of nice to position the legs and then lean back onto your support. It's up to you, the order you want to get into all of these things. Take as much time as you need. So with your feet together, if you have the option, if you have blocks or pillows, you can slide them under your knees. Again, allowing your legs to relax so your muscles don't have to be working here. And sometimes when we just allow gravity to do that work, you might feel a little strain around the knees or the inner thighs. I sometimes feel that. So just sliding blocks under here is going to make this more comfortable and more relaxing. Another option that I really like involves the blanket. So you would take a blanket, fold it into like kind of a big rectangle. We want to have like a longer tube than the one I just showed you. So then you roll it up like how we did before, but see how this one's longer? So you bring the blanket on the top of your ankles, so the soles of your feet are touching here. Blanket goes on top, and then you just like make a little donut by wrapping it around your ankles. So now like the outer bones on your ankles are really cushioned, and your legs are kind of being held up. You could still always slide in blocks here if you want more, or you can do without. So this is a nice option. Just to, again, allow the legs to really soften. So whatever feels best for you, make your way into that now. Maybe you decide to explore all of these options, or maybe you know exactly what you like and what's most comfortable for you. Whenever you do find your restorative heart opener and hip opener, or maybe you're opting for one or the other this morning, begin to notice where your muscles are still active. Maybe you're still kind of clenching in your core. Maybe your face or jaw is kind of tight. Maybe the glutes. Feel free to take any small movements as you're settling in here. Checking in with how you're feeling physically. And then seeing if you can allow your mind's eye to kind of travel to those physical spaces in your body that are standing out to you. Maybe that means they're just feeling slightly vulnerable, maybe they're sore, maybe they're tense. Maybe it's a space you know is linked to some past experiences. Doing your best to stay objective here. Not assigning good or bad. Not building up narratives. Allowing your mind to stay very present in this moment, which is often easier said than done, but a great way to practice being present, returning to the present, is by identifying with your breath and nothing else. Always coming back to your breath. So once you're winding down with that physical check-in, beginning to bridge that gap between mind and body, between physical and spiritual, external and internal. We'll continue breathing naturally. In yoga, that shift that I was just talking about is called pratyahara, Sanskrit word, usually translated to mean non-identification with the senses or sense withdrawal. But recently I've been using the visual of kind of crossing over a bridge. Or zooming in is another way I like to think of it. Continuing to breathe here, feeling your chest lift with your inhales as you fill all the way up. And allowing your chest to lower, deflating completely, relaxing completely. Maybe pausing at the bottom when you're all the way empty before inhaling deeply, filling back up. Always welcome to make observations, but doing your best to avoid judgments. Practicing ahimsa or nonviolence towards oneself by not judging. Breathing here intentionally. Centering your awareness on your breath as it fills the heart. Allowing gratitude to enter the mind, the body, the spirit, as you feel your heart filling, your chest lifting, receiving all of those good things. And as you exhale, releasing the urge to control, to judge. Choosing to trust that the next breath will come and surrender to that process. Take about 3 to 5 more rounds of deep, conscious breathing. Swallow to relax your throat. If there's an intention you'd like to set, you can do so now. Maybe there's a spoken affirmation you've been working with. This is a great time to open your practice with that. A mantra that resonates. Or maybe even dedicating your practice to a person or a thing an idea. Whenever you feel ready, we'll very slowly begin to come out of the supported posture. First, by setting your feet flat on the ground, bending the knees, and then very gently beginning to roll off of whatever is underneath your back. Using your hands to kind of support you as you roll off to one side. You can always bring your bicep under your head, stay curled up for a moment. Maybe taking a few breaths, allowing your spine to relax. Eventually pressing yourself up and finding a comfortable seated posture. This can be with your legs crossed in front of you. Maybe it's a kneeling posture instead, with or without something under your seat. I always like to have my hips elevated, so I will be folding a blanket, sliding it under my hips here for that elevation. I also like to cross the more awkward leg in front to sort of begin to address any of the naturally occurring imbalances that are present in my body. Again, as we become more comfortable actually being in our bodies, noticing what it feels like, we might begin to see that there are imbalances present physically or energetically. And again, do your best to be really kind to yourself as you notice these things. A mantra I like to use is, I'm asking, I'm listening. Linking that to my breath. Inhaling, I'm asking. Exhale, I'm listening. Reminding myself that yoga is so many things, but self-inquiry is a big part of it, and embracing growth in however it comes to you. So that might be by practicing observing without judging, something I'll come back to a lot in my teaching. So finding your comfortable seat, maybe you shift side to side. Your eyes can stay soft or maybe even closed here. Bringing hands to the ground beside you. Maybe the fingers don't touch down, that's okay. Take a big inhale through the nose, elongate through the spine. Feel the crown of your head lifting towards the sky. As you exhale, maintain that lift of the crown while softening through the shoulders and allowing your seat to root into the earth. Maybe even visualizing roots growing out from beneath you, really anchoring you down. Inhaling, feeling that energetic and physical lift towards the cosmos. Exhaling, rooting down, softening into the earth. One more inhale, connecting to the yang energy. And exhale, connecting to the yin. We'll begin to flow here, linking breath to movement, working first with the neck and head. So as you exhale, bring chin to chest. And know that today, if you'd rather not move dynamically, linking breath to movement, you can always choose to hold any posture for longer. So exhaling, chin to chest. We'll inhale, roll one ear to one shoulder. Lift the chin up, stretch along the neck. And as you exhale, return chin to chest. Go slowly here. Inhale, other way. Lifting chin up, stretching along the side of the neck. Bring your teeth to touch. Exhale, chin to chest. We'll continue doing this just a few more times each direction. Inhale, roll ear to shoulder, lift the chin. Feel free to explore, lifting and lowering chin, opening and closing mouth. Exhaling, chin back to chest. Continuing, allowing your intuition to guide you here. And if that means holding for multiple breaths in any posture, please honor that. Just always exhaling to move back to the center and inhaling to roll one way. Just a few more rounds of breath like this. As it gets colder, you know, I have an unconscious tendency to shrug my shoulders up towards my ears, to kind of tense through my neck, and really my whole body. So taking time to intentionally move and breathe, focusing on those points of tension is going to be really helpful. It'll spill over into your daily life, and maybe it'll even become something you do just automatically. As you're ready, finishing up, when you're evened out on both sides, you can inhale to lift the gaze. As you exhale, look one way, bringing chin to shoulder. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, look the other way. Do this twice more each side. Inhale through center, maintaining your tall posture. Exhale to move. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, look. Last two on your own. We'll meet gazing in front of us. Inhale, lift the chin towards the ceiling. So be really intentional here. Lift your chin instead of allowing your head to fall back. You're finding space and length through the front of the neck, the throat. As you exhale, counter stretch, chin to chest. Just a few more times. Inhale, like you're drawing a line with your chin, going up. Maybe you bring your teeth to touch. You can always open the eyes really wide and look all the way left, all the way right. Exhale, returning chin to chest, stretching the back of the neck. Once more like that. Inhale to gaze straight ahead. Take a few rounds of breath here, noticing any shifts have occurred after doing just those 3 neck stretches. I hold so much tension in my neck that I always feel a really big difference. Feel kind of like blissed out after that. You're always welcome to give your shoulders a little rub too if you know you need some extra love there, if you want to build some heat. From here, we'll kind of work our way down, working into the shoulders and upper back, still linking breath to movement. So starting by bringing hands to touch, thumbs at sternum. Inhale here. As you exhale, press your palms into one another. Turn your fingers so they're facing away from you. Send your arms away from you. Stretch the arms long. Bring chin to chest so your back is really round here. You're reaching forward. Then as you inhale, peel the hands apart like you're peeling apart magnets. Moving slowly, squeezing shoulder blades together. You're always welcome to take cactus arms as a variation. And as you exhale, bring the hands back to the heart center, finding a neutral spine. Inhale. Exhale, press palms together. Remove the bend of the elbows as you reach your arms in front of you. Peel shoulder blades apart. Tuck chin to chest if it feels okay. Inhale. Lift the head. Peel the arms apart. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Spread the fingers wide. Exhale, slowly bring palms back to touch at the heart. I'll go through one more time, cueing. Inhaling. Exhaling, pressing palms together, pushing hands away. Inhale, peel the hands apart, expand through the arms, fingers, squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale, hands return to heart center. Let's do 2 more on your own. It's okay if it's not exactly right. Just follow to the best of your memory. All meeting back with our hands touching at heart center. A few rounds of breath to check in. Building in these little moments of awareness, checking in, coming back to the present throughout your practice, again, so it can become almost like second nature. Continue. Now working with some twists. We'll inhale, reaching the arms out into a T shape. As you exhale, cross the right arm over the left and twist to the left, looking over left shoulder. Inhale, unwind. Fill all the way up with air, and as you exhale, left arm over right, twist to the left, look over left shoulder. Inhale, unwind. May have gotten my lefts and rights wrong just now, but we'll keep going. Exhale, right arm over left, look to the left, look over left shoulder. Inhale, unwind. Still rooting down through your sits bones. Exhale, left arm over right. Look to the right. There we go. And look over right shoulder. As you wring yourself out like this, see if you can push every little bit of air out. So on your inhale, as you unwind, you can fully expand. Maybe even sip in a little more air at the top before exhaling right over left. Twist to the left, look over left shoulder. Inhale, unwind, face forward, stretch your arms long. Exhale, left arm over right, twist to the right, look over right shoulder. Twice more like this. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, twist with right arm on top. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, twist, left arm on top. Inhale, unwind, last one on your own, moving with your breath. Inhale, unwind, reach. As you exhale, lower the left hand down. Maybe you find a block or maybe the hand finds the ground. Reaching right arm overhead, seeing if you can keep your shoulders kind of in the same line. So if you were like trying to scoot between a very narrow hallway or like two panes of glass. So you inhale, bend the elbow, find a cactus arm, look up, lift heart towards ceiling. Exhale, reaching arm in line with ear. Maybe you decide to look down towards your mat. We'll inhale, peel the heart open, cactus the arm, squeeze shoulder blades. Exhale, reach. One more like that, moving with your breath. Inhale, create space. Exhale, find a deep stretch. Press evenly into both sits bones. As you inhale, reach up through center, both arms reach. Exhale, find your T shape again. Lower right hand down and begin to hinge to the right this time. So there can be a soft bend in the right elbow. Feel really supported underneath your right hand. Reach, find that stacking of your shoulders that I talked about. And when you're ready, if you'd like to add the flow, we'll inhale, cactus the arm. Maybe you look up. Exhale, reach overhead. Maybe you look down. Rooting down evenly through both sits bones so you're really supported here. Inhale, cactus the arm, look up. Exhale, reach. Again, with your breath, inhale, lift. Exhale, reach. So you're ready, we'll inhale, reaching all the way up. As you exhale, twist to the left. Hands can lower down to the ground or to somewhere on the body. Maybe you find a block to lift the earth a little closer to that back hand. We'll inhale here, sit up tall. Then as you exhale, unwind and find a counter stretch, draping your torso over the right knee. Hands come to the ground. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold. Do that twice more. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, lower. Once more like that, if you'd like. On an inhale, crawling hands through center. Exhale, walking hands in towards you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the right. Allow the hands to lower, just letting them fall wherever they naturally do. So maybe somewhere on the body, maybe bring a block behind the back hand. Grow really tall here. Exhale, hold the twist. Inhale, reach arms overhead, unwind, twist towards the left leg, and drape the torso over the left thigh. Few breaths here. Maybe on your inhales you lift the gaze, and on your exhales you lower. About 3 rounds of breath. On an inhale, crawling hands back through center, exhaling, walking hands in. Few check-in breaths here. And then as you're ready, making your way up into a standing posture. Starting to work our way down the body. So we've done kind of head, neck, shoulders, the torso. So let's do a little bit of flowing from an upright position. Once you get here, we'll start by first bringing your legs about hip distance. It's going to look different for everyone, so find what's going to feel the most supportive for you. Lift all of your toes, spread them wide, set them back down. Feel almost like a little lift up through the arches of your feet. And as you feel that lift through the feet, allow it to kind of ripple up your body into the legs. So activating the muscles in the legs, the glutes, kind of shift your pelvis forward slightly. Doing a little self-adjustment here is always helpful. Working your way up, feeling that lift through the crown of the head, rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. So you're still softening there. Keeping your chin tucked in slightly. And then reaching your arms out beside you, palms facing in front. Be mindful that there's a slight bend in your knees. Finding mountain pose. So maybe visualizing like there's little rays of light shooting out from your fingertips all the way down to the earth. So your body's making like this triangle shape. You're rooted down through your feet, but maybe also feeling that sense of like being tethered through the hands as well, linking you to the earth. It's okay if you want to kind of sway forward and back, side to side, testing your center of balance here. And as you're ready, we'll inhale, softening through the knees, reach arms overhead, grow tall. So you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, lifting halfway to a flat back. So hands can be at shins on the ground or you can use blocks. And as you exhale, fold again. Inhale, press into your feet like you're ripping your mat in half left to right. Unhinge, reach all the way up, just reversing that same motion from before. Exhale, hands at heart. I'll do 2 more of these like half sun salutations. Moving with your breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep your arms beside you, hinge at the hips, flat back, swan dive forward. Stretching the backs of the legs, allowing your torso to be heavy. Always building in more breaths as you go if you'd like. Inhale to find your half lift. Flat back, exhale, fold again. Maybe staying here longer or going directly into standing, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Once more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll kind of add on, going through a traditional namaskar, sun salutation. We'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Hands find the mat. Step back one leg at a time for a high plank, or if you'd like to do kneeling plank, you can lower the knees immediately. Maybe a blanket under the knees feels good. Staying in your high plank on that inhale as you step back. Exhale, lower knees, untuck toes, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Just using your back to lift you up, so a little baby cobra, bhujangasana. Rooting down through the tops of your feet. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tuck the toes, press yourself up through kneeling or a full plank. Sending hips back and up for down dog. Inhaling here. As you exhale, step the right foot forward, followed by the left, finding a forward fold at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the feet, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll go through that once more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back one foot at a time for your version of plank on the inhale. And as you exhale, lower down by lowering the knees and lower all the way. Inhale, cobra. Lift through the heart, root down through the pelvis and tops of feet. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tuck toes, press up through your plank, then find your down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Keeping your knees slightly bent here, rolling shoulders away from ears, spreading the fingers. Inhale, step the left foot forward, followed by the right. On that same inhale, you're lifting to your flat back. And as you exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll continue with this energetic portion, and then after just a little bit longer, we'll move into our restorative. So warming up the body here, we'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, this time plant your hands on your mat or maybe on blocks as you step the left foot back behind you. So finding a lunge with the back knee lifted, getting into the hips here too now. As you inhale, we're going to scoop the heart forward. As you exhale, lengthen through that front leg. Maybe even lift the front heel off. So inhale, we're going to flow here with our breath. Inhale, scoop forward, bend the elbows, lift through the heart, find that low runner's lunge with the back knee lifted. Each foot is in its own lane. And as you exhale, shift the hips back and up. Maybe you lift the toes off of your mat or maybe they stay grounded. Just getting a big stretch for the back of the right leg. Inhale, come forward, stretching the front of the left hip. Exhale, sit back. Show you just from a different angle. Inhale, still grounding evenly through both feet. Scoop your heart forward. Exhale, sit back. A few more times, finding your own flow here. Big stretch for the back of the front leg. Big stretch for the front of the back hip. Maybe you're feeling it in other places too. Maybe your low back is getting a nice stretch. Next time you come forward, we'll lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, and do pretty much the same thing, just from lower to the ground. So you can continue working with blocks if you'd like, or you can bring hands to the ground, maybe on tented fingers, just like before. Inhale, scoop forward. Exhale, sit back. Working with half split, Hanumanasana. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. As you're ready, from the forward position, this low lunge with the back knee down, hands can frame the foot, you can tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back to plank. Maybe you go directly to down dog or even a child's pose, or if you want to go through your knees down, lie down, cobra, you can. We'll all meet in our down dog. 3 rounds of breath once you get there. Or child's pose too. You can take your 3 breaths in child's pose if that feels better. Always welcome to pedal out the feet or add in any intuitive movements. Noticing the difference between left and right. And as you're ready, making your way to the top of your mat by walking there, taking big steps, you're even hopping, finding a forward fold. Allowing your head to hang really heavy. Maybe you nod yes and no a few times. Whenever you do feel ready, we'll inhale to find your flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press into your feet, bend through the knees, unhinge the hips. Go all the way up, hands to heart. A few check-in breaths here. You can always take longer pauses between. When you're ready, we'll move on to the other side. Grounding through your feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Maybe you find blocks here. Maybe hands come to the ground. Take a big step back with the right foot this time. Really grounding through both feet. Each foot is in its own lane. All 10 toes facing the front of your mat. Wrists about underneath shoulders. Maybe it's wider. When you're ready, adding in that flow. Inhaling to scoop the heart forward. Bending through the elbows to kind of make this a fluid motion. As you exhale, sit the hips back, lengthen through the front leg. Maybe you lift the toes of the front leg, or maybe your foot stays rooted down. Inhale, bend through the knees, scoop, or the front knee, scoop the heart forward through the arms. Exhale, sit back, stretch the back of the front leg. Inhale forward, bring your awareness to the right hip. Exhale, sit back, awareness to the front leg. Continue, feeling your mind-body connection as you move. Maintaining your steady breathing, being really mindful that you're not holding your breath anywhere. And you're always welcome to hold a stretch, but you're breathing steadily as you do so. Just a few more like that. Notice if this side is maybe more challenging or a little more easeful than the last side. Again, staying really neutral with these observations. Just thinking of it all as just information. Next time you're forward or whenever you're ready to move on, we'll come forward, lower the back knee, untuck the back toes, and we'll do the same thing but from a lower posture. So inhale, scooping forward in your low lunge, knee down. Exhale, sitting back. Finding your half split or Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale forward, really oiling up the hips. Exhale, sit back, stretching the back of the front leg. Flexing that front foot and lifting the toes is going to find a deeper stretch. Inhale forward, exhale back, just like a little teeter-totter. A few more times. Inhale forward. Whenever you're ready to continue, frame the front foot with the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back to plank. If you are a practitioner of chaturanga, you're welcome to take it, or you can continue to lower knees, lower all the way down, lift shoulders up, back, and down, peel the heart open, squeeze the glutes, relax, lower down on your exhale. Inhale, press yourself up. Exhale, find either child's pose or downward facing dog. On an exhale, making your way to the top of your mat. Inhaling to lift forward, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root through your feet, lift all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands at heart. A few rounds of breath here, noticing that maybe your heart rate has gone up a little bit. Maybe you grab a sip of water. From here, we're going to kind of start to cool down by going into the restorative half of the practice. So maybe you put some layers back on. Find your props, have them nearby. And when you're ready, you can begin to make your way onto your back. I always like to have a folded blanket underneath my head. Maybe you try that. Maybe you skip that. And have your props close by. I already said that, but if you have blocks, kind of have them within arm's reach. Same with maybe an extra blanket if you've got it, and your bolster or pillows if you've got them. So as you lie down, get there nice and easy, nice and slow, gently finding your way onto your back. Once you get there, you're welcome to take some movements here. I know we were just being energetic, so going to stillness might feel a little awkward. It's always fine to kind of incorporate some intuitive movements. One of my favorite things to incorporate throughout a practice is bringing my feet as wide as the mat, knees bent, and then just windshield wipering my knees left and right. Feels so good on the low back. Really nice for the hips. It even kind of massages your glutes. Allowing your arms to relax by your sides, palms face up, and inviting that receptive energy. Maintaining your breath, maybe actively trying to slow it back down. If your feet aren't planted and knees aren't bent yet, you can go ahead and make your way there now. Seeing if you can find a really flat low back in this position. So if that means kind of tucking your tailbone under, you can go ahead and make that little adjustment. And as you exhale, lower both knees in towards one another. Hands can come onto the belly here or anywhere else on the body that feels good to you. Or they can stay stretched out by your sides. In an effort to connect with our breath and slow down, we'll work with some pranayama, some intentional breath patterns. So as you inhale, begin to count. 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're welcome to continue working with this 4 to 8 unequal parts breath as we continue with these restorative postures. If there's another breath pattern you're fond of, you're welcome to incorporate that. As you're ready, you can kind of heel toe the feet back in line with the hips. Knees are bent still. Inhale, hug both knees to chest. Maybe you take a few moments here to rock side to side, massaging the low back. Even draw little circles with your knees going in one direction and then the other. Might feel nice to come through the center. Bring chin to chest, forehead to knees, stretching the back of the neck. Before exhaling, softening down. As you lower down, you can reach your arms into a T shape. And as you exhale, keeping both knees bent, roll onto the right hip. Now, ways to make this a more supported posture are you could slide a blanket, block, or pillow between your legs. If you find that your legs are hovering off the ground, like the right leg isn't rooted down anywhere, you can slide a block, pillow, or blanket underneath to kind of lift the earth a little closer to you so you can find that support there. It might be tempting to find a really deep twist here, but see if you can allow your body to soften. And if that means that your shape kind of changes, that's fine. That's actually really great. I notice that the more I relax, my twist kind of begins to look differently. But I'm still getting the benefits of the stretch. Check in to see that both of your shoulders are rooted down into your mat. If you'd like to incorporate a neck stretch, you can look over the left shoulder, so away from your legs. Checking in to see that your face is relaxed, your shoulders are soft, your torso is soft, your abs aren't working, your glutes aren't working. Seeing if you can relax all of your muscles and instead allow the earth and any props you're using to do the work of supporting your body, giving your muscles a little break for now. We'll be here for about 3 minutes total. So see if you can really embody those feelings of surrender or relaxation, if that word resonates more. Maybe notice if stillness is less comfortable for you than flowing or moving. Being really curious, but non-judgmental as you ask and notice. Take about 5 more rounds of deep breathing. As you're ready, you can remove the props that you're using around your legs. Very slowly on an inhale, hug knees into chest, roll onto your back. Again, maybe you take some of those small movements, or maybe you stay still. You might notice that you've kind of come out of alignment here. Maybe your hips are kind of over to the side still. You can lower your feet down and sort of readjust so your hips are in line with shoulders and in line with feet. Eventually returning to knees to chest, inhaling to prepare, and as you're ready, opening the arms out into your T-shape and rolling to the other side. Knowing that this side might feel different than the last side, so you might choose different props. It might look different as a result. Check in to see that both shoulders are rooted down evenly. Once you feel nice and supported, check in. Give your body a little scan to notice where you're holding tension and see if, as you exhale, you can intentionally soften. Maybe using your mind's eye to find those little spaces of tension or tightness. And as you inhale, sending your breath to them, visualizing expansion there. As you exhale, embodying release. Maybe returning to that unequal part breath pattern from a little while ago. Especially if you find yourself distracted or your mind kind of wandering away from the present. You can use that as a little reset. Maybe you decide you want to incorporate the neck stretch and you look over the opposite shoulder away from the legs. Really allowing yourself to settle in, knowing we'll be here for a few minutes. Taking your final 5 or so rounds of deep breathing. Knowing you can always stay longer in any posture or come out of it sooner. Maybe as you begin to notice more imbalances in your body, you decide to spend longer on one side than the other. That's fine. Remember, this is your practice. You can personalize it. It's meant to be personal. When you're ready, you can remove the props you were using, and on an inhale, very slowly come out the way you came in. So hugging knees to chest. Taking any little movements here. And as you're ready, you can kind of roll off to one side, press yourself up. I'm going to work with a supported forward fold with legs wide. So maybe you take a blanket underneath your hips here. Having a bolster is really helpful for this and blocks, but it's not absolutely necessary. I'll show you, if you do have a bolster and blocks, you can make like a little structure, so it would look kind of like this from the side with your blocks, just like making a ramp. And then bring it right up to you and allow yourself to lower towards it, having one cheek down. And if that's too far away still, you can add pillows, you can add blankets. And another thing that I find really good in any kind of wide leg posture on the floor is to bring either blankets, pillows, or blocks underneath your knees so you're not hyperextending there. Remembering that this isn't meant to be active at all. You're supposed to be relaxing into it. So this is great if you have the bolster. If you don't have a bolster, maybe you've got like some big fluffy pillows. If you don't have blocks, that's fine too. Again, blankets or pillows under the knees. Just start stacking up all of your pillows. And allow yourself to relax over them. So your arms are framing the structure, however you've created it is fine. Bringing one cheek down onto the pillows. Allowing your feet to relax. Allowing your low back to relax. You can even bring blankets underneath your heels if you find that downward pressure is uncomfortable. I'll tell you when we're about halfway done so you can switch which direction you're looking. You can go ahead and switch which direction you're looking. And taking about 5 more rounds of breath. Whenever you're ready, you can unwind the head so you're facing forward and very slowly lift yourself off of the structure. And we're actually going to keep this structure. So if you've got your, maybe if you were working with the bolster and blocks option, that's great. We're just going to turn around and use this under our backs. So if you're using this kind of like pillow mountain option that I've created, same thing. Just going to turn around, so now it's like your low back is up against the structure, and you're going to lay back. I think it's good to always have a little bit of support for the head and neck, so if you're working with pillows, they have a little less like structure to them than the bolster. You might like fold a blanket or something to have underneath your head. Here just a few minutes, so finding like a counter stretch to that last one. If this feels not great on your low back after folding forward, maybe you explore taking both feet onto the ground and kind of heel-toeing the feet wide, returning to that feet wide, knees together option. Another choice could be finding the opposite, feet together, knees wide, kind of similar to how we started. And lastly, if neither of those feel good on the low back, maybe you try bringing a rolled blanket up to the low back and then returning. Or maybe you skip this one if you are unable to find a supported shape that's going to allow you to relax. Because really remembering this whole process of restorative postures is relaxing. Doing whatever is necessary to find that feeling. Visualization can be really helpful here. Sometimes I like to visualize that I'm underneath a weighted blanket, feeling that heaviness kind of wrapping around me and holding me in a way that's very supportive and comfortable. Something that might feel or be very soothing for me might not be for you. It could even kind of spark the opposite reaction, maybe some anxiety. So don't force anything. Find what feels, best for you. Another visual I enjoy is inhaling, feeling like I'm lifting off the ground about 1 centimeter. And exhaling, feeling myself like I'm sinking into the earth about 1 inch or so. If this shape and posture is feeling really comfortable for you, you're welcome to continue with this one as you go into Shavasana, our final resting posture of the class, where we absorb the work we've done. So you can stay just like this. Maybe you decide to gently lift up and add in some props. You can always slide a pillow under the knees. this is extra cozy. Or if you want to lie flat on your back, you can. You can return to the posture we started with, the supported heart opener and hip openers. Another really wonderful option, if you have access to a wall or a chair, would be to either take legs up the wall with your back flat on the ground, or if you have a chair, lie flat on the ground, bend your knees and bring the calves on top of the chair. Elevating the legs is something I always recommend, especially for a restorative shavasana, but just in general. I usually like to elevate my legs when I'm in shavasana. So either slowly shifting and making your way to a new position, or maybe just adding in props to the one that you're already in. Wherever you're at, making a conscious choice to really do nothing. Instead of maybe grasping for, a breath pattern or a mantra or something to kind of just like focus on, maybe explore allowing that emptiness, that stillness. Sometimes this is the most challenging part of a practice, is the allowing yourself to be. You're always welcome to call upon those resources, those tools, the breath patterns, the gratitude practice, the intention. But it's nice to remind yourself that shavasana is the part of your practice when you really get to do nothing. You can slowly begin to deepen your breathing. Maybe swallowing to relax the throat. Maybe a cleansing breath in the nose, out an open mouth. Beginning to slowly awaken the mind and body. Maybe making physical movements will help in this process. That could be wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, maybe a full body stretch. Know that since you are practicing at home, you're welcome to take a longer shavasana. Maybe you just pause or close this video and finish on your own. Otherwise, in your own time, you can eventually kind of bring your knees into your chest, getting small, rolling off to one side, being very mindful of the props you're using. Staying curled up for as long as you'd like before eventually pressing yourself back up and into any comfortable seated posture. As you transition into this new shape, a new relationship to the earth, your eyes can stay closed or your gaze can be soft. Whenever you arrive back in your comfortable seat, you can allow your hands to lower towards the earth. Inhaling, lifting through the crown of the head, again finding that connection to the cosmos, the yang energy. As you exhale, maintaining that lift while anchoring down through the sits bones, through the hands, through whatever parts of your body are making contact with the earth, finding that yin energy, that earth energy, grounding. Inhale, lift through the crown of the head. This time reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, bring palms to touch, lower thumbs to third eye. Send gratitude and reverence to the original teachers and practitioners of this thousands of year-old practice, dating back to India and Egypt. Taking time to acknowledge the land that you're sitting on, the original inhabitants and caretakers, the First Nations people. Where I am, that's the Osage, Kansan, Shawnee nations. Whenever you feel ready, you can lower hands to heart, sending gratitude and reverence inward for yourself. Knowing that self-care is, very radical. And very necessary. Thank you all so much for practicing this morning and allowing me to practice alongside you. May there be peace in your mind, peace in your body, and peace in your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you. Hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you next week.